Assalamu alaikum, guys. I think I'm going to title this today, this short one. It's going to be short, I promise. The short one called "If You're Muslim, Don't Read the Comments." So, over this past weekend in the U.S., a young Muslim girl, Nabra, was killed on the way back to the mosque after eating sari with her friends. It made some news because at first they thought the person who killed her was an illegal immigrant, and so of course the anti-immigration people, the build the wall people got involved. It turned out later that was a mistake. He's not illegal, and because she was a Muslim, it was a big deal. But I want to point out something. When a child gets killed, it should be national news. Whether she's Muslim, whether it was a hate crime, whether it wasn't, whether she was murdered by an illegal alien or not, a young girl on the way to her mosque, no less, to die such a horrible death. She was kidnapped and beaten to death with a baseball bat. For people who don't know what's going on in the U.S. right now, it was not front page news, despite what people who are trying to make it sound like it wasn't front page news, but it should be. I remember maybe 20 years ago, baby Jessica, a little girl, fell in a well because her parents couldn't be bothered to pay enough attention to there being a big hole in their damn, yard. And we all watched. I think it was more than a week. It was probably like 2 weeks. This little girl sat in a well. Okay, the whole entire nation freaked out. This was just a simple case of parental negligence, or even just a freak accident, because it was kind of weird because it was such a small hole. And the whole world paid attention. Beauty queen child JonBenet Ramsey disappears from her house. Crazy international headlines. Casey Anthony may or may not, but probably did, murder her daughter. Little girl. It's national headlines. When a child dies, it is national headlines. It should be. So regardless of hate crime or not, immigration issue or not, okay, so the facts are a young American citizen girl born in America was traveling with 15 friends after eating sari with her friends to say the morning prayers. And one of them, this is all the facts that are out right now, and I guess some of them were riding bikes, some of them were walking. One of the boys on bikes apparently a guy got out in traffic and swung a bat at him, and they kind of had a little altercation. The kids all took off. He caught up with them later, came with a bat trying to kill them or maim them or something, who knows. I don't know what was on the guy's mind. It's really hard to believe it's not a hate crime. The state's saying it's not. I don't have the facts to prove it was. And sometimes something can be a hate crime. It can be hate motivated. Maybe he saw a bunch of Muslim children walking across the road at 4 in the morning, and it was hate crime motivated. But if he wasn't shouting out some kind of slurs against Muslims, then it's not going to be called hate crime. That's just the facts. That's legal facts, whether it's fair or not fair. There's no way to charge someone with a hate crime when there's no evidence of it. So, like I said, I don't know the facts of the case. So, going online on Facebook, you can read a million rumors. You can read like the ones I've already stated about him being illegal, or even her being illegal, which is kind of weird as she's an American citizen, like I said, born and raised. So yeah, one of the horrible comments I've read, besides the typical ones that just break my heart with the amount of hate in the world, there was people saying if she was a non-Muslim, it wouldn't be a big deal, and that's crazy. Like I said, when a child dies, it's always a big deal, especially like this. So they're all trying to make it, of course, political issues, this, that, and the other. But my faith in humanity was really shaken by this. First, when the news of the story came out, my faith in humanity was shaken. This girl was not alone. She wasn't walking on the streets. You can't say she was asking for it for sure. Like you always hear, oh, they should have been doing this. They should have been. She was with lots of other children her age. She was leaving with her friends, a large group of friends, to go to her mosque to pray. It's so hearing the story shook me to the core, as it was. And then I made the mistake and I disobeyed a rule. A while back, I read on somebody's blog somewhere, or maybe an article, said if you're Muslim, you shouldn't read the headline. That you should not read the comments. So I made the mistake of reading the comments, And then first there was a blatant hate. One of them said, at least she won't be married off to a 70-year-old somewhere in a cave in Afghanistan, I think was one comment. Nice people, nice, real classy there. She deserved it. You know, eye for an eye. I don't know how a 17-year-old little girl going to a mosque could deserve to die, but that's the kind of things people said. So first, it shook me that this happened, and like I said, whether it can be criminally a hate crime or not, there's no doubt if she wasn't a young Muslim girl walking there with all of her friends in a big group to this to the mosque, it couldn't have happened. And I have to feel, it seems like it's not often that this happens, that people just cross across a group of kids, and for some apparent road rage reason, they just start swinging bats at them and take one off and beat her to death and kill her. I mean, it's a little bit strange. So I don't know the facts. I will say another hate crime that's not being called a hate crime, though, that's making me suspicious about the first not being labeled a hate crime, is that in the past, I think it was yesterday, her memorial was set on fire. Somebody set the 17-year-old girl who was tortured and murdered, somebody set her memorial on fire. The police captured the guy, said it's not a hate crime. I take exception to that. I don't know the first one. I don't know if it legally met that, you know, the required amount of proof. But I sure as anything don't know any reason besides a hate crime that somebody would light this girl's memorial on fire. I'm sorry. What is it? Guy was a personal enemy of hers? No, he wasn't actually. He was an old white guy, so don't even go there. Okay, so back to the headlines. So I don't know, reading the headlines, I always see the positive in people. I always see the positive situations. I always believe that people are good, they're just ignorant sometimes. Anybody knows me can tell me I can find an excuse for everybody why they're actually a good person. That's in my nature to do. And I read these comments, and I felt broke last night. I really felt broke last night. Like, people are this way. How can you even call yourself a human if you saying things like a 17-year-old girl should deserve to be beaten and killed this way? It's horrific to me. I've lost a little faith in humans. I don't know. I feel like there's no hope for humanity if people really believe the terrible things they say on social media. So, oh, sorry. So, anyway, I guess that's all I wanted to say is a Muslim child, whether it was a hate crime or not, a Muslim child was beaten and murdered in the U.S., and that does deserve a headline, and it does deserve sympathy. And for people to make it political, or people to even go on these comments and spew such violence and hate, and oh my gosh, talking about she's going to burn in hell and things like that, I had to stop and remember. That's why you've been warned. That's why at least 2 other places I have seen somebody put up a sign saying, if you're Muslim, don't read the comments, because there's no defense. How can there be defense for people who are like this? There's no defense. You can't give facts to people, you can't explain to people, you can't say anything to people, because there's no logic to saying a 17-year-old girl deserves to die. And even just the basic facts that people couldn't even get straight, or that they were switching around to suit their agenda. So I think until this dies down, I think I will pray a lot for Nabra's family that this happened to them, and I will avoid the comments again for a while, because I want to believe better of people than this, and right now I don't feel that in me. All right, everybody, I'm sorry about this emotional outburst. I love you all. Bye.